but you always say that.
Oh, yeah, my hit rate's pretty good.
Well, yeah, show go shouldn't quantify no additional paper. You're legit, though.
Do one flame if you want.
One, just that?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes. Couldn't be any better.
Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, look at that. Oh, goodness.
That's nice.
Tim finally approves of the new mic stands.
Yes, they're very nice. Very nice mic stands.
Yeah, be grabbing. Might almost want to put a little more wood in there, but it's your call.
A little goozle of watered down tea.
It's very much watered down tea for sure. I don't even taste anything.
Yeah.
Periodically. Let's see here.
So Josh wasn't up to date on what happened with the hunting public, and all I watched was their video, and their video just says I got a ticket, and they explain what happened. But I just kind of wanted to bring it up with Josh because I think as people who have grown in the space, one of the things I'm most paranoid about, and I feel like I'm even more paranoid about as I've grown on the internet, is getting a ticket in the woods. Just because a lot of people, when they do get a ticket, they get labeled really quickly, and I think people are really quick to judge. And it stinks. So I wanted to kind of brief Josh on what happened. Basically, as I understand it, the guys are out in the woods filming. Okay, imagine you and I are out in the woods filming a turkey hunt.
I'm pretty sure. Well, no, I heard about this somewhat. I'm trying to remember who. I don't know if it was you. I thought we might have talked about this.
No, I didn't talk to you about it, no.
Okay, all right, well, cool. Yeah, go.
Yeah, so imagine you and I are out in the woods turkey hunting. I could look up what state it was, but it was one of the states in the South, and I think it was Alabama. Going
that
off
sounds
memory.
right.
And the guys are out there. Okay, imagine you're filming me. We're out there on public land pursuing a turkey. And we walk back to the truck together, and a warden says, "Hey, you guys, I need to talk to you. What you're doing is outside the law. And I'm going to write you a ticket because for you to be able to film me, you actually have to have a hunting license."
Right.
Which is, I've never heard of that.
I hadn't heard of that either.
Yeah.
But now that you're telling me this, somebody talked to me about this, and that's what the story I heard.
Yeah.
Is that by filming you have to have a license. In fact, Brandon might have told me about it.
Yeah. On public land, which is just crazy to me. Like, you could be out there with your iPhone filming TikToks or whatever you wanted to do. I mean, it's part of your constitutional right to be able to film yourself. Now, filming somebody else, I guess, is different, and when you include somebody else in that party. And I guess it's a new law. And I actually wanted to read the top comment because the top comment I thought was very interesting. Basically, this guy said, hey, because it was a new law, a lot of times
They'll let it go.
You'll get a grace period.
Yeah.
And that's pretty common on the enforcement side. Like, if it's a new law, the first goal is to educate.
Right.
And then after that, after that grace period, maybe they start writing tickets.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I guess that summarized it pretty well. I don't need to read into it too much more than that. But this guy was like a warden at a few levels and rose up through the ranks. But he basically said to fight it, and I hope they do. I mean, that really stinks to get them on their record. They were very accountable for what they're doing and acted really upstanding about it. So I don't think it in any reason will hurt their brand. But it just sucks because that kind of stings me a little bit, just knowing like, all you got to do is be in the wrong a little bit, and they can grab you for something.
Yeah, the way fish and game laws are written they're very complicated in general. Like,
especially in this state,
it should be illegal to not make a law that a middle school kid couldn't identify.
That would be a great framework for a law.
Yeah, like anybody should be able to read that and know what it means.
Yeah.
Like any average person should be able to read that and know what it means.
Which I've always felt about.
They're never written that way.
Similarly about contracts, like a contract should be simple enough. It doesn't take a lawyer to figure out the fine print. People want to be able to look at it, understand it, like a middle schooler could read it, and that's a very good way to put it. But yeah, that just sucks for those guys.
It's unfortunate, and it's good of them to just jump in front of it and start talking about it right away.
Yeah, they're very accountable.
I mean, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, but when you try to act like you didn't make a mistake and fight it like crazy, then you look more guilty rather than just, hey, here's what happened. We didn't know. We're, paying our fine or whatever it is, or doing our consequences and moving on.
I hope they fight it. the guy in the comments said that they'd have a pretty good chance if they did fight it, and obviously that would be up to the judge they went in front of, and the amount of time they wanted to put into that. But I hope they do.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Because you're a public figure,
right?
They like to make examples of public figures if they can.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in that situation.
Anyway, I just feel for the guys, and I think they handled it very professionally, and I hope they get support from people, not the other way around.
Yeah, unfortunately, it tends to be the internet trolls are never the supportive kind. They're almost always the
comment
negative.
Section was pretty positive when I got into it.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's encouraging. Once again, if you just own up to what you did and try to work through it, you're probably going to get a different response rather than fight it and have attorneys and whatnot fighting it for months and months and months before you address anything. Then you're likely to maybe be talked to more negatively and not believed. It's like, oh, that's what you agreed to, so what'd you really do?
Yeah.
Right? Because anybody who knows the legal system, you're going to tend to plea down some of what you did and accept some of what you did.
Yeah. Well, you and I both kind of had bear plates thrown onto our platter recently. Are you excited?
I am. I have not ready at all, and I've got a little while before I need to be. I still got some paperwork and stuff to fill out. Just, the scramble. I'm always scrambling.
The administrative stuff.
Yeah. I gotta fill out stuff for my tag because it's a reservation, so it's different stuff. But it managed to fit in my schedule when I actually had one available week, and it's close enough I can drive, so that's encouraging. So, but yeah, going to the Quinault reservation in May.
Yeah. And
I think there's 5 weekends in May, if I remember right, is how it landed, and one of my 5 weekends I'll be here. Yeah. The other 4 I'm gone.
Yeah, one of them will be in Tennessee. So if this comes out, and it should come out before we're in Tennessee. But you have your grand opening at Nashville North.
Yes, the biggest epic party ever. It's on May 1st.
May 1st is the date.
May
for
1st,
sure.
all day for sure.
All day party on May 1st. That's a Thursday.
Thursday, May 1st. Everybody throwing down, having a good old time, checking out the shop, and hopefully not stay up too late because we got to get up and drive to the tournament the next morning. The old tax ski.
Yeah, so know about that. If you're in the area, you can swing by. It'll be sweet. And then the following, that weekend, we're going to get down and shoot Total Archery Challenge, first of the year. But you're going to have one before that, you said?
San Antonio's the week before. I'll actually fly from San Antonio to Nashville.
Man on the move.
Yeah, I'm going to San Antonio the week before. That's my first one.
Well, I'm kind of curious what the audience thinks. If a bear hunting setup they're more interested in or a tack setup. Probably interested in both, but I'm personally curious. Are you leaning towards anything for a bear hunting setup yet, as far as particularly broadhead?
Yeah,
because I know you're not going to choose a bow yet.
Well, so I've already decided what I'm going to do for a bow. I just haven't.
But you haven't put it on the internet, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna put it in a video and
package it nicely.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something I don't think I've ever seen anybody do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can explode out of a box wearing a power thong.
Ta-da! Yeah, sure. A power thong. No, but I can say for equipment for bear hunting, I think I'm going to use, just got some in today, the Annihilator Katana.
Oh, I want to see that because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, they came out with it last year, and they didn't ship a single one last year. And they finally got it dialed. They ended up insourcing their manufacturing because they couldn't.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they couldn't get what they wanted out of their manufacturer and ended up just not selling a broadhead.
Which would be frustrating, but I think in the grand scheme of things, if you can say, hey, that product's not the way we want to get it to the customer, whatever you got to do to get it right before you do that, because it's hard to regain a sale, particularly on the same product, right?
Yeah, they ended up pioneering like a whole new process and whatnot for their broadhead themselves, like nobody's done it before.
Like if you say, hey, we sold you this product before, but now it's better, like that's hard to do,
Right.
So it's better just to get it right.
Yep.
Or as close to you can, because products evolve.
Of course.
I'm pretty interested in that Evolution mechanical.
Yeah, no, it's a good broadhead.
Yeah. My experience with bears is it's pretty easy to get an arrow to fly through them.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had an arrow get stopped by a bear yet, so I just keep leaning towards wider and wider.
Sure.
And I pretty much shot as wide as I could have last time, so I don't know that I can shoot too much wider, but yeah. It is nice to switch things up and...
Well, it's the first time I've seen one of those broadheads. It's tiny, but it supposedly puts a big hole and stuff. So I'm more amped to see what kind of a hole. Yeah, I put it all in. Yeah, it got going real quick, as you called, correct.
Yeah.
You could probably even damper it down a little bit. It's all the way. It's full bore. I think everything's going good enough. Yeah, I'm real curious to see what that broadhead does. What kind of hole it leaves in something, because they do claim pretty gargantuan wound channels for such a small little broadhead. And it's a cool looking little head to boot, so I'm just going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's a little single bevel, I guess you'd technically call it a 6-blade broadhead. It's got like dual little bleeder things on it, and it's all one piece. It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, I'm not even sure what bow I'll use yet. I've got, I'll have 4 or 5 ready by that time. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to take. Whew. But, and that'll be a quick turnaround. That'll be the first hunt I officially film with a cameraman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey?
Oh, yeah. Old Dodsy's coming with me. Dodsy do
Dodley
right.
do right?
Dodley do right's coming.
Dodley don't do wrong?
Yeah, in fact, he's coming to
So that means
every
you guys
event
still,
that month.
That means you guys are still friends after your big road trip?
Well, yeah, not only are we friends, apparently we're traveling everywhere together.
Oh, my God.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Travel buddies,
No, he's
too.
going to, I'm going to San Antonio by myself, but he is coming to Nashville, Bow Disciples, Pennsylvania, and the bear hunt. So I'll be 4 trips together in a month.
Dang.
Apparently we get along okay.
Will be a man on the move.
Yeah, although he's still freaking sick. I hope he's better by tomorrow. But yeah, he came over Monday and started to work, and he made like an hour and a half. He just kept coughing, and I was just like, stay on that side of the room and like tell me what you want me to record here, because no,
Yeah,
you need to go home. Don't get me sick. I got way too much to do to get sick.
Don't be dropping that crud on me,
I
bro.
already got sick once, so I don't need to get sick again this year.
Yeah. Well, I keep seeing 4 veins resurface.
Oh yeah,
Young Bodie was shooting 4 veins at Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
4
veins are more common than not in indoor target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young Michael was shooting 4 veins yesterday at the Buffalo Ranch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just kind of see it resurfacing. Dan's talking about shooting 6 veins or something over
5.
Oh, okay.
5. So that was clearly a joke. Like you can't fletch that accurately. Oh, you knucklehead.
Yeah.
But
It's trending. Why do you think that is?
because everybody hates me. No, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat, dude.
Yeah. What are we talking about for FOC loss if we throw extra vein on?
Percent.
1%. Yeah.
That depends on the overall weight of the arrow, but the average is
Yeah.
1%. You're gonna go from 13% to 12% or 12% to 11%.
Speaking generically, yeah.
Yeah, speaking generically.
Yeah. And on FOC, that stands for front of center. Explain what front of center means.
It's the percentage of the arrow mass that's in front of the middle point of the arrow. And the reason or purpose for that is that means the front of the arrow is guiding the back of the arrow. The back's to stabilize the arrow and the front's for tracking. And if you have a lack of weight in the front of the arrow, it makes the arrow move around a lot more in wind or variation. And when you hit a target, like if you hit an object and it tries to force a change of angle based off of what you hit, i.e. something hard, the more mass you have in the front, the straighter through it's going to travel, or the more likely it is to break through bone as opposed to go around it. And that is very relevant in reality. Mm-hmm. So, and you can watch arrows with like less forward to center. When they hit something, the back end of the arrow moves a lot more. Mm-hmm. And when you have more mass in the front, the back end of the arrow doesn't move as much when you hit something hard at an angle.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see a demonstration of FOC, like so easy middle schoolers could understand it. You know, just like, hey, here's what a lot does, here's what a little does. I think that would be very interesting. The main thing I've observed when I've seen a 4th fletch on the arrow, just personally, is more drag.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, considerable.
Considerable drop.
And it seems, from my redneck shooting ability, that it also has more wind travel, more wind drift. You know, the first time I saw that was when you and I were out there.
That would be called surface area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I were out there shooting, and, I was shooting from a long way, and I had a couple groups that weren't that tight, but one of them was higher, one of them was lower, and one of them was also more pushed by the wind.
Yeah, and it was a direct reflection of a 3 fletch versus a 4 fletch.
Yeah.
It's 100% different. And it was, I remember it was a long shot, and it was like a foot in both directions.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was about right.
Yeah. You're just like, wow. Well, that kind of shows something, doesn't
So
it?
as much as I've always wanted to run a 4 fletch just to spite you, I've always, remembered that and just been like, what am I gaining? And I always think that one thing when it comes to that drag, like a lot of people don't think about is, when it's going through something, that's another fletch to catch.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, you're probably going to lose some penetration as well, just because you're trying to push more through a hole. There's so many negative things to having more fletchings. Yep. There really are, which is why I've always stayed away from it or veered away from it. I don't care about the takes more time part. That's not a big deal. But almost every other facet, it's a negative. Does it stabilize more? Yeah, so does a bigger vein. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing?
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
You're being trendy.
Being trendy.
I am not trendy. I will not be trendy.
Yeah.
So, but hey, if it works better for you, it works better for you. There's not a wrong answer. If you can hit the middle of the target, I really don't care what you did it with.
Yeah.
Just got to be able to hit where you're aiming. Although I have been taking in more protein.
Have you?
And protein-related things.
Some people get that from protein.
Yeah, I don't remember ever having that problem, but I am ingesting more for sure. So maybe that's a reaction I'm getting.
Like when people go carnivore, a lot of them will describe that they have problems going to the bathroom a lot.
Well, when I originally did way back when, the first little bit, it was like that, but I've been that way for a long time, and it hasn't ever affected me like this. But I'm taking like protein bars and protein shakes and stuff, and I haven't been doing that in a long time.
Supplement.
So maybe that form of it, my body's trying to adjust to. Could be. Could be. But my stomach's just grumbling like crazy. Oh, an ant. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, how was Peoria? You just got back from, was it your second show this year?
Yeah, I went to the Iowa Deer Classic prior, and then went to Nashville for a week, and then flew home, and then was here for 2 days and turned around and flew to Chicago, and then drove to Peoria. Because out of Spokane, that's about the only way you're getting there, without it being too much of a challenge and an excessive cost. So yeah, I went down there and set up the booth and had products available, and way less people, but way more real interest. Like we actually sold stuff. I think we sold like 5 or 6 blinds over that weekend, and a couple of towers plus the displays, which was way more than we sold in Iowa. And Jared had said the same thing. He's like, the year before, way less people, way more people bought stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what the correlation is to it. It's interesting. If what it really means or how many units you really could sell in something like that. But, it's an interesting thing, right? Because it's this big, bulky thing that you're not just going to buy and pick up there.
Right.
Right? It's like, here, go to the website and buy something. Yeah. That kind of deal. And that's the challenge of it all for sure. But it's a pretty incredible product. It does speak for itself when you actually get in one. And that's what I notice a lot on the lower priced model, the Twilight. It's cost effective. And they'd get inside of it and you'd show them what it does, and they're like, and this is how much? You go, nobody was complaining about how expensive it was. Well, and almost everyone to some degree does.
The first thing I would think about if I hopped into one of those babies would be like, how does the window function? Conjunction junction. Like how do the windows function? Because if you're a whitetail hunter, that you can't squeak, you can't.
So they're a very unique window system, and it's what you'd see in like a $4,000 or $5,000 blind, which makes that product really unique. They have what they call a resistance hinge polycarbonate window. And what that means is there's hinges on it that when you open the window and let go of it, it stays wherever you let go of it. You don't have to open it all the way up and hook it on something, or there's not a magnet or anything that holds it in place. You just pull it open as far as you want to pull it open and let go of it, and it'll stay there. The only catch to using something like that, because it does seal relatively well, is when you get in the blind, you're going to want to immediately open whatever windows you're going to want to open while you're hunting. Right? So you leave them closed until an animal gets in front of you, but you have to have opened it first, because it makes this seal that it develops over a day or two, that if you just open the window once, it won't make any noise when you open it. But if you forget to do that and you go to open window, it might be sticking to the gasket and give you a little popping noise, which is not ideal for a hunting situation. But outside of that, outside of that, it's phenomenal. It's I always look at that when I'm comparing it to the Daybreak, which the Daybreak is a phenomenal blind all in itself. It's a modular aluminum insulated panel blind. It's like airtight, sound tight. It's real impressive. But the Twilight's insulated panel, waterproof roof, resistance hinge windows, all the stuff you want in a blind. It's just fabric sided, but it's like I said, it's insulated. It's like an ice shelter. And I just go, I can have 3 of those for one of those. Like, I think I'd probably take the 3 Twilights over one Daybreak. If a guy wants a really nice blind, like a high end, gonna leave it there forever, never wear out kind of thing, the day breaks your blind, but you're going to spend, quite a bit more for it.
Yeah. Well, you used the product first. You had them up at your property, right?
Mm-hmm. I've been hunting in them for years. They hold up great. They work great. I've killed several animals out of them. Every single time I open the window when they're in front of me, they don't hear it.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. And that helps with your scent containment, obviously, too, and your noise. Like honestly, hunting in those things kind of makes you a little on the lazy side because you don't have to be quiet. Like you can make a noise and they don't even look at you because it's containing your noise to a large degree. So you don't have to be quite as proficient.
Yeah, that's true. There's some noise containment going on there, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty massive, especially in like the daybreak. The daybreak's like
because the fabric's going to help soften that as well.
The fabric helps and it's insulated, right? There's a layer in there, right? There's no open portal to the animal. There's something in between you no matter what. But your daybreak is literally like soundproof. Like we could be having a conversation at this level in that, and the animal would be in front of you, and they probably wouldn't hear you.
Which is honestly more massive for scent than sound, though. I bet.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Like the daybreak, you got to open vents. Like there's a port in either end, or you might suffocate. I'm serious. Like it's airtight. You need to have some airflow through there.
What do they call that? You be Dutch ovening yourself?
Yes. Yeah. Do not rip ass in there. That would be a bad idea.
You ever do that with bibs on?
No.
It's bad.
I bet.
It's bad.
It's creeping all the way up to your nose hairs.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
It's got nowhere to go but up,
Yeah. That's right.
No ventilation. Mm-mm. Yeah. Well, you know how you and your friends do that antelope hunt every year?
Yeah.
You make it out to be a big deal. You got a belt and all that stuff.
It's just a good time with the boys, you know? Yeah.
That's what we did this year for our little local shoot here. Mm-hmm. We said we're going to put some buckles on the line. We're going to talk a lot of smack leading up to it and shoot it 2v2 style. Because what happened last year was we had just like the most fun day shooting out in the rain. And it didn't go on video, which is fine, but we just had like probably the best finish I've ever had as part of a group. Like drama, suspense, shoot-offs, double shoot-offs. And it wasn't on film, which is fine. But this year, we played it up. We got it on film, and we basically ran it back. And it was fun, man. Like, shooting 3D targets, I always learn some stuff,
Sure.
Like, I would say the thing I learned this time the most was the angle of the target affects so much of your ability to work an arrow into the 11, Like, whether it's quartering away or quartering towards or leaning towards or leaning away.
Yeah, it's drastic.
I would say that would be the main thing that, like, when I was done, I was like, I wasn't considering that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Well, and that creates a high level of difficulty to aim because it's forcing you to aim somewhere you don't want to.
Yeah.
When they tipping the targets really hard.
Yeah. Right.
That you're like aiming way high up in the back and you're like, God, that doesn't look right. I don't want to aim up there, but you have to.
Yeah.
And it's how well you mentally you can handle that.
Yeah. And, I could see that paralleling the heat of the moment with an animal is just being present enough to be like, hey, his leg's forward or his leg's back. The first time I heard that, Cameron Haynes mentioned something about shooting an elk with its leg forward. And I was like, oh my God, I'd never heard that before. And particularly with an elk, they have that big scapula.
Big scap, yeah. No, so, you wait for them to be perfectly broadside, shoulders broadside, or leg forward.
If that leg's forward, I mean, you're talking about opening up a ton of
real estate
surface area to be able to work an arrow in.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, that was the first time I heard it. And we shot it unknown, which unknown would be very challenging. It's just an individual shooter. We did it on team, so that makes it a little easier, Like, you can shoot it with your partner, and then your partner goes, oh, I shot it for this. Here's where I think it is.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. You pulled that crap on me with James and Brianna.
Yeah.
Without giving me a heads up.
Yes,
oh, by the way.
Of course.
Of course you would.
I find it to be really fun. There's something about it takes a bit of the pressure off to feel like a good shot should be in the 11. It's just like, I guess maybe I'm thinking a little more about the yardage and the process, and my brain is thinking about those things. So it's like, there's a lot going on, and the shots just break really nice, and I don't feel like, like, I don't know, there's something like less pressure there, which is interesting. And also with my background in golf, like, of all the things that like I could be decent at with archery, and if you're like a first time listener, I'm just like a mid-grade archer. You know, I'm not great at it. It's something I enjoy, but I'm not great at it. But of something I could be good at within this little realm is unknown, because I have a decent eye for judging distance just based on my time on the golf course. So it's kind of nice that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So one might consider it a strategic advantage for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like if I'm going to be good at something, it would be unknown, you know, like shooting paper at 20 yards. You know, I'm not that good at shooting 3D targets. I've had my runs where I've shot pretty good in spurts, but in general, apples to apples, like, you know, like I said earlier, I'm just, you know, maybe middle of the road, maybe a smidge better than that, maybe a smidge worse on days. And it's cool. It's fun. So we had a fun weekend, and it's just fun to play it up with the boys, you know, like.
Is this coming out after that?
Yeah, that'll be out. It's out right now.
So do you want to talk about what happened at all?
Yeah, totally. It came down to the final shot on both ends, and we did it match play style, so 1 point available per target.
Yep.
And it came down to the final shot on both ends. And on the final shot on the front end, Joel and I both stuffed one in the middle, shooting second, which felt pretty good. To be able, I don't know, just when you make a pressure shot, it's like a good thing to be able to remember back on and build confidence, you know?
Sure.
And I realize that I don't necessarily have that experience with archery, and I do with so many other sports, so that's where a lot of my confidence is drawn, you know? It's like, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I've been in those situations. So with archery, I have less of that to draw from. You know what I mean? So that felt good. And then same thing on the back, like we just went neck and neck, and actually those guys were in the lead. 2 up with 3 to play.
Ooh.
2 up with 3 to play. And we shot an 11, won a point. We tied on a 10. And then on the final target, I shot first, and I felt like what I made was a pretty dang good shot, but I missed a little bit to the right. But I had the yardage. So I passed that forward to Joel, and Joel absolutely stroked it. And ended up coming down to the final shot, and we won. So it was wild.
So was the final shot an 11 or 10? Or
11, yeah.
11, and they got a what?
Center punched 11. I can't remember if they had a 10 or an 8.
So if that was a 10, wouldn't it be tied?
No.
Because you said you were down by 2 with 3 to go.
Yeah, so we won.
And you got a point, and then you tied, and then you got a point. That would be tied.
Right, so, yeah, you're right. I said that wrong. We garnered 2 points leading up to that, and we're going into the final target tied.
Okay.
So it was all square on the final target.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Joel made that shot, and yeah, it was cool, you know. And I put a few of those things on the internet, 2v2 shoots or individual shoots, and you never know how they're going to go when you start them. Sure. Right? You hope they come down to the end, because that's fun for the viewer to watch. Sure.
Or if, you're producing, you might make it come down to the end.
You can.
One way or another.
No, we preset the rules.
You've changed rules on me in the middle of shit multiple times.
Okay,
so don't tell me you can't.
Let's give the example.
Don't tell me you can't.
Give me the example.
Give you an example?
Yeah.
Oh, no letdowns 3/4 of the way through the course when you've been letting down all day?
Yeah.
That's changing the rules?
One letdown.
Either way, but
that was just simply for pace of play.
But that was a change of rules, was it not?
Yeah, but we were all aware of that too. It wasn't like...
I'd have to go back into my repertoire of experiences with shooting 2v2s or things like that with you, but I know of at least 3 different times where you've it's like, hey, we need to change this a little bit.
And honestly, I didn't do that for advantage or disadvantage. I did that for pace of play.
Sure.
I'm very conscious of pace of play because of golf, and I don't want to be out there with cameras holding people back.
Sure.
So I prioritize pace of play over sometimes what's going on camera. And good or bad, I've always been that way. And it comes from golf because pace of play is important, and I just don't want to be the person out there holding other people back. So that's where that rule change came from, which actually ended up hurting us in the long run.
Oh, sure. Of course it did.
But I was okay with that for pace of play. Yeah. So although from a competitive person, it may seem like, hey, I would like that to happen for the competition. It's not. It's often for pace of play or for the group, or because, you know, in the video, I would like that to be a great video, you know, which means if it comes down to the end, that's better than a blowout.
Sure.
Yeah. Which is why things like, you know, if I shot with Michael, like a good example was when we shot TAC last year with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Michael was disadvantaged on both sides. Day 1, he was 2v3. Day 2, he was also 2v3. But they both shook out to be great matches. We got lucky. But that's what you do when you're shooting with someone there's a skill gap. You know, like if you came to golf with me and we wanted to
I don't think there's a way you could make that fair.
Right. But if I wanted to make a compelling video, I would start you in a different place, you know?
Might not matter.
It wouldn't probably. And that's fine. Like that's when you're a professional at one thing, you accept that, right? Like that's what it means to be really good at something. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's a challenge. If I started you on the green and I started all the way back, so what? That's a challenge. You know, I'm a professional. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Sure.
You look like you don't believe me.
I think sometimes that's what you're doing. I think other times you're not. And this is from years, right? Not recent things, right? So, but no, I mean, there's always like, it's hard to make something like that if it's not going to be compelling. No different than when we were shooting with James and Brianna and we were like way ahead. If James hadn't gotten that 1 point he got there, it would have been like 3-1 shooting the fourth target and being over with. It's like, I could understand where it'd be like, hey, can we change this up a little bit because we don't want it to be over yet.
Or when you guys did the left-handed thing, right?
Yeah, I immediately was like, hey, let's change this because we're winning drastically and we need to throw some extra help in there.
You know, like
if
a blowout happens, it happens. It's definitely less fun for the audience to watch.
Yeah.
So what you hope for is like you hope for it to come down to the end. That's a perfect world. Not that we exist in that. And we got lucky that both sides came down to the final shot.
Yeah.
But if you were to say going into that, is just knowing myself, knowing Joel, knowing Justin, knowing Michael, all four of us are going to go out. We're going to shoot unknown. What do you think the Vegas odds are? Where do you think they stack?
On who's going to win? Mm-hmm. I think...
like if we did it 10...
I'd give the nod to Justin and Michael, but Joel's scary good.
Yeah.
Like Joel is scary good.
Yeah, Joel can shoot for sure. He's had like he had like a 28x game or something?
Yeah. And he shoots outside really good.
Yeah.
Like really, really good. So I'd almost argue that it's a coin flip or pretty close to it because Justin shoots good, but sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? Michael traditionally shoots really good.
Shoots 3D very well.
Yeah, he shoots 3D very well. Yeah. So, and I would put Michael at the level of above Joel, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
Like Joel's an incredibly good shot.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd still give it a coin flip, but I'd probably give a point to 2 points to Michael and Justin as a group. I'd say a point.
Yeah.
Depending on how many targets we're talking about here.
Yeah, 30 targets, 15 and 15. That's how we shook it out.
I'd have probably given them 2 points.
Yeah.
As I would have figured they'd probably win with a 2-point lead.
Yeah.
Are you counting points or are you counting a target counts as one?
Target counts as one.
Yeah, I'd have had a hard time picking between 1 point and 2 points.
Yeah.
But I'd have given them one for sure.
Yeah, so if we did it 10 times, all things left the same, they probably win more than they lose.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not a knock on anybody. I'd be really surprised because Michael doesn't miss.
Right.
He rarely misses.
So what happened was Joel and we kind of pitched the perfect game, and especially on the back, we had some luck involved where we were just like catching 10 lines, and they were on the edge of the 11. Mm-hmm. So we had like 3 of those targets where we were both 10s, but it could have been one was an 11 or one was an 8.
Right.
You know, and we just tied and moved on. And, it just shook out the way it shook out. I would also say that there were a couple times, like Joel and I didn't make many mistakes, but one of the mistakes we made was Joel's vein color. There were a couple targets we couldn't see his veins.
Oh yeah.
And when you're my partner and you shoot and you guess a yardage and then I can't get any information from you, that's a significant disadvantage.
Oh, for sure.
So I probably shot 3 targets or 4 targets without information. And one of them was on the backside, and it was a 46-yard standing deer, and I caught an 11 on it without information. And I was just like, holy shit, was that cool to watch that arrow fly? Because I was the 4th shooter too.
Right.
So like those are just nice little experiences to draw back on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure. So that's cool. I mean, it's always whenever you're trying to make something have some level of drama to it, it's kind of pointless if it's not going to be close. Which, like I said, even myself when I went and did that, I was like, "Oh, this is not fun. Let's hey, you shoot. We'll add you into the team. You shoot for him. That kind of thing." And Joel ended up saving the day, right?
Yeah.
Once again, Joel's freaky good.
Yeah.
He's sneaky good.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. He just showed up one day and he never leaves.
And he never left.
He's a very very funny person.
Very humorous. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was cool. And I think it just kind of it was a ham and egg scenario where we just pitched the perfect game and squeaked it out. I think if we gave Michael a target bow, known distance, lens, binoculars, rangefinder, I don't know if we beat him in a 3v1.
Probably not.
You know what I mean?
Probably not.
So.
Yeah, he's freaky good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him compete at an ASA. He's committed to one, right?
4.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, he's going all out.
Yeah.
Mark my words, Michael Allman will be a professional archer.
Yeah. That'll be cool because that's...
There's no way he won't as long as he keeps going at it, which I don't know what would stop him from going at it.
That's his world, and Top Pin last year is our big regional shoot, and he kind of ran away with it.
Yeah,
which says a lot,
Well, he finished 8th in Vegas in the Pro Open class.
Right, which says a lot.
Which means he's the 8th ranked shooter in the world at that tournament.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, somebody else he's technically an Idaho resident, so he finished number 1 in Idaho. But number 2 in Washington, if he would have been in Washington. Bodie's in Washington.
He's Montana resident, isn't he, or no?
Yeah. Well, I don't know
right
what...
on the edge.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I know they're moving to Montana. I don't know if he's registered as Montana.
Yeah, that's right on the edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be a tough one to take away.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you got to lose to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Might as well lose to Boy Wonder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just encourage a listener to if they have a local 3D event to shoot it with your buddies, have some fun with it, and get to know your equipment. Every time I go to one of those things, I come back with a little thing that's oh yeah, I learned some stuff there, or I feel better or worse about my equipment, but then I know what I might need to work through, and it's a good thing to do,
Yeah, it's always a great experience, 100%. It's a good way to go. Definitely, I mean, you learn a ton from shooting indoor or known distance dots and things like that, where it's just you and your bow as opposed to an unknown distance or a non-definite point of aim, things of that nature that change it up. But you're gonna have a hard time beating 3D, and from a fun level, right?
Fun, right?
3D is really fun. Even if you're not going scoring, just go have fun, go screw around with your buddies. Take some tough shots. It's a good way to burn an morning afternoon sesh. It really is. They're a lot of fun. There's a lot of them, but there could always be more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you ever think about here just being why don't we just have a little 3D shoot for the locals here?
Because there's really not enough space.
Yeah, it would be less targets. Could it be a 10 target shoot off?
It's not just that. It's where you put all the cars. We did it originally. So, if you look at the layout of where we are, we used to own the property behind that. If you go to where the far end of the 3D range is, there's a house up there. That used to be our property with no house. And then there was another 2-acre strip on the other side of the family home here that we also owned. And our 3D course used to go all the way up around the back and then make a kidney and then finish out. So we had 40 targets. We had a full 40 target range. And at one point we did tournaments here. We did 3 of them. And I want to say one of them had 260 people at it.
Wow.
There was not room for 260 people out here. It was way too tight. It was way uncomfortable. We didn't have any 3D targets at the bottom here. Like you came around the side hill and finished out. There was nothing down here in the flat, and that was full of cars. And there was cars over here. There was not feasibly room for all the vehicles, because it's not just can you fit that many people out here. It's can you park their cars out here, and that's the bigger problem. So, I mean, it'd be fun if you limited it to like 60 or 80 people.
Yeah, I was thinking between 50 and 100. I didn't know there'd be that kind of demand for something like that. Like 260 people show up.
This was when we first opened the thing, and the average 3D shoot got 250 to 350 people at it.
Wow.
If it was reasonable distance and not a terrible time of year and not another conflicting event. Like you look at the schedule and it's like, hey, nothing else is going on this weekend. Let's go do that. And I mean, we're basically in town. We're not, but we're like right on the edge of town. So getting here from Spokane's like 20 minutes. Getting here from Coeur d'Alene's like 20 minutes. I mean, a lot of people can get here really easily.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It is. That would be a lot of vehicles for that size of parking lot, and just the peripherals. Because there's not that many peripherals, like.
No.
Where would you stuff them?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's challenging. For sure. Now, could we do a 50 to 100 person event and cap it? Say this is how many people we're taking, period. Sure, you could do that. Yeah, smaller deal, maybe run through the course twice.
Yeah.
Or something, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking it'd be cool kind of community thing. I was thinking 50 to 100 people would show up. Or maybe you'd have to cap it. It sounds like you would, obviously.
You'd probably have to cap it. But mind you, this is a long time ago, and I don't think 3D shoots get the same number of people that they used to.
That could be true.
Back here.
And then maybe shoot like 10 targets, 15 targets. Keep it super simple and light. And then let the top so many in ties go through maybe a shoot off or something.
Yeah, like cool. Take the top 10 guys, line them up,
like
make
top
them all
10 in ties, and be like, hey.
Kind of like top pin, how they do it.
Or go like Mr. B style, like, okay, there's 15 of you tied. You're gonna shoot a hoop at 100 yards, and then that group advances.
Sure.
You could have some fun with it for sure. But
yeah,
it's hard with those things to be like recreational and also have a shoot off. Because there's like 2 tiers of shooters. You have like the people who are really good. They spend a lot of time. And then you have like the guys who just want to come out and shoot their bow for the weekend. Well,
how you would do that effectively, in my opinion, is make the shoot-off portion of it excessively entertaining.
Right.
Like, okay, here's still targets, and all right, everybody's shooting at this one, then that one, then that one. And then have like stands where people get to watch it happen.
Yes, I agree. Stands I've always thought it'd be cool.
Then you get a level of entertainment that you wouldn't normally get that would be fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. And archery is kind of interesting because, like, how do you define a pro from a non-pro?
It's a very good question.
You know what I mean? In golf,
it's the class he chooses to enter in.
Right. In golf, it's pretty straightforward. In archery, it's very much less defined. There's like you said, it's kind of gray.
Well, from what I understand, once you participate in an event as a professional, you must enter into professional the rest of the year. You can't like go back and forth.
That's a good thing.
Like you have to pick. And I want to say you have to shoot, or you have to finish at a certain level at particular tournaments to qualify on like NFAA scale.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to be a pro. Like you sign in an amateur, you win a tournament in amateur, and then they invite you to be a semi-pro or that kind of thing, right? Whereas I think the regular 3D shoots around here, if they offer a pro class, it's just if you choose to sign up in pro class or not. There's not a determining line, I don't think.
I was going to say, another question you could answer is, do you have earnings? Are your earnings in the thousands of dollars? Okay, you're a pro. are your earnings, or wherever that is.
Well, but then it gets real fuzzy because it's like, what are you determining as earnings?
Right, I know, yeah.
Are you determining winning a tournament and getting money? Are you determining an compensation for using equipment?
Right.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
That could do it too. It's just it's kind of a gray area to try to determine what's what there.
Yeah, I would love to see like 50 to 100 average archers, or maybe above average archers, or wherever, just like the dudes who want to hunt but they also want to come rip their bow, and they don't shoot events all year long, to come up and just have like something like that. I think that'd be so fun.
For sure.
Even if even to not even participate or just announce or something, like, I think that'd be cool to watch that pressure.
Oh God, yeah.
For people who aren't used to experiencing it too, because that is such a unique experience to have people watching you perform.
For sure, and that would be that would actually be something relatively easy to do here.
Yeah.
If you just limited the number of people and had a coordination of where to put vehicles, which if it's under 100 people, I don't have a problem putting vehicles in.
Yeah, and would tee times actually help the event flow? I don't know.
I would do it that way.
Yeah.
I would. If there was 100 people,
yeah,
right, and I'd have like groups of 4 or 6 or something like that, and have them going out every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
I would think that would do it, because to walk up to a target, have 6 people shoot a target, go pull the arrows and score them, and then walk to the next target, that's probably 10 minutes.
Yeah. 10 minutes is pretty common tee time change in
and
the
if
golf
you had
industry.
6, and I got to think here. Where's my utilities?
As a sidebar, my favorite tee time interval for golf is 10 minutes. There's some courses run 8 or 9 or 7, and they'll always end up running behind. It's very difficult. 10 minutes gets you enough room to squeeze somebody.
If you did groups of 6 and they were every 10 minutes, you could run 100 people over 3 hours start time. And that course shouldn't take more than an hour.
Right.
So that would mean, assuming things well, it would take about 4 hours. So if you started at 8 o'clock, by noon, everybody should be done.
Yeah.
You could figure out their rankings. Everybody break for lunch.
Yeah.
Come back 1 o'clock. You got the shoot-offs.
Yeah. That would be cool. If there's interest in that, I would be curious to see the comment section, because I would just like to be there as an observer or whatever, help facilitate it. I just think that'd be a really fun community thing to do. And I do think it's possible. We do have a really good 3D range. I guess the only logistics thing would be the crowd and the parking and that kind of thing.
That wouldn't be terrible. You do it on a Sunday because we're already closed, so you don't have to worry about, customers and, the parking lot getting full of actual customers, as opposed to participants. Have them all park out in the front field here.
Yeah.
Walk across, all the cars are over there, so they come and go from the other driveway. So if you still have people coming into the shop for one reason or another, there's still ways to get in and out. Set up some bleachers, some grandstands, and have them do have them have like a steel target at 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 and advance out as you go. But if you're going to have a shoot down like that, I'd almost want it to be like take a while, like an hour or two, if you could. Because if you're going to run like 4 hours and then, okay, shoot down and 15 and break, and then, okay, time for the shoot down, 15 minutes and you're done. I'd like to set it up in a manner in which it might take a little while to get through it.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting little brain thought there. Something we can mill around more, get some response from the audience. Mm-hmm. You got the elk immersion this weekend. How you feeling about that?
As soon as I get done with you, I got to go out and do some work. I got stuff to do. Quite a bit, actually.
Who's
we'll be okay.
Who's all coming on the instruction side of things this year?
Me, Dan, Joel, Bodie, somebody from Phelps, Hunting Fool, and Onyx. That's who everybody is.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good group of people to hang out with.
Yeah, there'll be some good folks in there. Jared can't make it. He's about ready to die with all his travels, so he's sending somebody in his place. Him and Ruthie are going to, I want to say Jackson Hole or something for the weekend.
Is it going full camp out style this weekend?
There's primitive camping available if you choose to do so, which I want to say almost everybody chose to do so. And we are cutting up an elk on Saturday afternoon.
Sounds like a hootenanny.
It'll be cool to see that, like going to get that all recorded and whatnot, documented, which I don't know if that's a good idea to put on YouTube. Is that graphic?
I don't know. You can always put those things as private and just tell people, hey, here's a link for it if you want to check it out, Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just saying, hey, here's a private link if you want to see what that is. If you don't want to deal with whether that gets, moderated or censored or whatever.
I don't know if that if it's a strike against you for putting something out that they question, or if they just take your monetization away.
They take your monetization away.
Well, then you could put some cool ass music over the top of it.
Exactly.
And not worry about it.
Just send it, yeah.
Just send.
But you got guys like the Bearded Butchers. I mean, butchering or butchery happens. Is butchery a word?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Butchering happens on YouTube. I mean, those guys have a massive following. So
it should be a safe bet then.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the circle of life. So
you are right.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys, that's the pod. Fire's out. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Leave us a review. That stuff really does help. Share it with a friend if you think of somebody who might like it. We're just a couple guys chatting next to a fire, and we appreciate you sharing it. We'll catch you back on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.